Right, it says, "For ye are yet carnal, for whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions. Are ye not carnal and walk as men?"
Division.
We didn't create the divisions. You niggas did. Okay?
It says, "For while one saith, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal? Who then is Paul and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believe, even as the Lord gave to every man? I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase." And a lot of you niggas, you act like you into this thing of worshiping men. You talk. General Yohanan saved my life.
The only man chosen.
He's the only man chosen.
I'm still waiting for the scripture. I'm still waiting for the prophecy. I'm waiting for the prophecy where it says, "And behold, a general shall rise up from the midst of the sea, and all Israel shall gather up under his umbrella." I'm waiting for the scripture, man. If you can bring that scripture out, I'll follow you, Johanna.
Lord of the Sabbath.
Yeah, Mr. Lord of the Sabbath.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse 12. "Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of the power, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of the Most High."
That's right. And it's the thing called being spiritually discerned. You have, in order for you to be able to discern these things, the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has to put that in you. It's a gift. This is Amos 3:3. "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" So basically, if you don't have an agreement, you can't walk that same path. Because that path you're walking, you got to be, and you have to both be in one accord with one another. Otherwise, it's going to be confusing. If you're with somebody, you got 3 different or 4 different Israelite groups, and everybody has a different doctrine. And they go to teach, and somebody asks a question. Let's say, for instance, what's the name of the Most High? Nobody can answer. They'll say, "Well, that's just the Creator." Blessed be the name of the Creator. Why? Because they have no agreement, so they can't speak on it. If they ask somebody about Cornelius, is Cornelius an Israelite or a heathen? Some guys will say yes, some guys will say no, some guys won't even take a stance on it. So you have to, the scriptures say, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" You have to be in agreement. Yahweh Shai is not divided. Paul was not divided. The apostles were not divided. They all had the same doctrine, in mind, and they walked that same path. That's what made it so strong. The scriptures say a kingdom divided cannot stand. It's going to fall. So that whole thing, you guys putting all them different Hebrew Israelite groups together, that's nothing but untempered motive. And it's all going to break apart because it's not sanctified and sanctioned by the Lord. You're not standing upon that rock. Because some of you might call on the name of Yahweh Shai, but you have different doctrines. Some of you are not calling on that. You're calling on Yeshaya and other names. You're not founded upon that rock. Because if you was founded upon that rock, you would separate yourself from them. Scriptures say, "Be ye separate from them." You can't be holding hands or walking with guys that have different doctrines, because that's how destruction comes, with all that bullshit coming in. A little leaven up the whole lump.
Precept for you. 1 Corinthians 14:26. "How is it then, brethren, when ye come together, every one of you have a psalm, have a doctrine, have a tongue, have a revelation, have an interpretation? Let all things be done unto edifying."
Unto edifying, breaking it down, meaning everything has to be in one accord. Like the word concord means with heart, with mind. You have to be in agreement. So because you can't work like that, because eventually somewhere down the line there's going to be friction. There's going to be some static and something's going to blow up. Because everybody has a different psalm, they have a doctrine, they have an interpretation. You got to walk that path. You have to be unified with the same doctrine, with the same knowledge. Otherwise, it's nothing but confusion. If a little leaveneth the whole lump, that means that whole thing is corrupt. Anybody got something?
And this is Psalms chapter 127:1. It says, "Except the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai build the house, they labor in vain that build it."
Right, because you building that, they call, you call it what, the Hebrew war machine. You got different guys coming together, different Hebrew Israelite groups coming together, having different doctrines. That's not of the house of the Lord. Because if it was of the house of the Lord, everything would be in unison. You would have had a common agreement, a common scriptural agreement on things. You wouldn't have all those different doctrines.
Yeah, that's the Tower of Babel, man.
Yeah.
You niggas just represent the Tower of Babel,
Well,
man.
I labeled it the Black Babylonianism.
That's what it is, man.
That last debate was horrible. Bashar and all that, AOC, and what was it? Everybody was screaming after every point somebody made. Ooh, the whole crowd. It was tacky, man. It wasn't even.
It was like a rap battle or some shit.
It wasn't even.
And ain't nothing come out of that shit. All you niggas went right back to your same old bullshit. Ain't nobody get converted or nothing like that, man. That's all bullshit. The Lord's not with that. He said, except the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, build the house. They labor in vain that build it. Even like Nate, the IUIC. Yeah, you doing all that wicked ass works that you're doing, but it's in vain, man. But the Lord is going to destroy that whole house. All right, the ISUPK. All right, now you got these big radio shows and everything. And the Most High is like that, man. He tell you in Ecclesiastes.
Hold up, nobody watches them shows. The most controversial man in America, Yohana, when he does his Monday night show, I go on there. He might have 20, 25, 30 people watching. So he's not so controversial. And then last Monday past, the show didn't even come up.
See? And I don't know how, it's hard to listen to that dude. You can't listen to him, man. It's like listening to a Medea or some shit, man. Hey. He ain't teaching nothing. All he doing is just sitting there yelling and screaming like he's on his
He's a blowout. He's the ultimate blowout.
That's all he's doing.
The best thing he had going was when we was calling in to the show.
Yeah?
That was the best part of that.
That made it controversial.
Yeah, we made you, nigga, through the Spirit of the Lord.
Yeah, well, you see that belly. You know that hot air gonna come out.
They gotta come out sometime. It says, except the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, keep the city, the watchmen waketh but in vain. So all you niggas thinking you waking up to the truth, like the apostle said, you got that skin on, but you got that unclean skin. You got that leper skin. Okay, spiritually. So really all y'all woke up in vain, man. You found out that you was an Israelite, but it's all in vain because why? It's only one truth, man. Alright, it's one faith, one baptism, and one name. One Lord. So that's all in vain. If you ain't find the right Lord, the one truth, then that was all in vain. So what? You got 1,000 studs. You got combat boots. That don't mean shit, man. The Most High ain't gonna accept you. The Lord gonna say, look, man, why you didn't listen to the prophets? Okay, because through the Spirit, we're the prophets of the Lord. You guys, who else is the prophets? Nobody else going to prophecy.
We're the only ones that got it right, man.
Great millstone.
You guys don't go into no prophecies, man. Y'all talk about being a part of the system, being a part of this
Having a
world.
goddamn cookout.
Yeah, cooking out on a so-called Sabbath.
Inviting heathens.
Yeah, making now they're doing on Nate's website. They're doing little school books, Bible school books for the children. What the hell is that in the scriptures? Like the Christian, the so-called Christian churches. They got them school books for the children. They're pictures of Samson. Today we're going to learn about Samson and Delilah. Next week we're going to learn about.
That's not commanded.
Making many books.
About the Lord. We got to be about the Lord's word. I got a quick research.
Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and 4. For though they flourish in branches for a time, yet standing not fast, they shall be shaken with the wind. Mm-hmm. And through the force of the winds, they shall be rooted out.
Oh, the wind. Alex Jones did a series called Terror Storm. Now, a part of a storm is high winds. So that terror storm is really that military, the martial law, the coming of Jacob's trouble. So a lot of you are going to be shaken. What was that part again?
Right. It says, let me start over.
Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 4. For though they flourish in branches, all these numbers.
Yeah, though they flourish in branches, like a good example is Nate. He's making all that money. He's got all these different businesses. He's got all these ideas that his wife proudly proclaims. Yeah, we're going to be building garment factories.
When they went down to D.C., and we're going to get off of this, go back to the main subject. We always get on these guys.
Yeah.
That's the Most High. When they went down to D.C., they had 1,001 men, and they were proclaiming the name of Christ. Christ. That's all they do, man.
Yeah.
That's why we call you guys fucking zombies, man.
That's right. Go ahead, bro.
Yep. Yet standing not fast, they shall be shaken with the wind.
They shall be shaken with the wind. Now, in the book of Haggai, the 2nd chapter, the 6th verse, the Lord said, "Once more I rise up to shake the earth."
Yep.
So the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is going to shake this earth. You're getting ready to see fear like you never saw before. You're getting ready to be terrorized. The scriptures call the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the King of Terrors. So you're getting ready to be really terrorized. And there's all kind of scenarios, man. We always talk about those wild beasts that Esau got locked up. Those things might be released, man, in those different labs. Because you know Esau is a madman. He's a mad scientist. He's the real Dr. Moreau, like the island of Dr. Moreau. Those things are going to be released. Now, that's a scripture in the Apocrypha. The Lord said, "You have created wild beasts, newly formed creatures." So, man, we're getting ready to see all kind of terrors. And remember Egypt. Before Egypt went down, the Lord plagued it. He brought all kind of plagues, different plagues, plagues of the locusts, plagues of the flies, different plagues to terrorize, plagues of lice, to terrorize Egypt. And he's going to do it again. He's going to do it right here in America, man.
It says, "And the imperfect branches shall be broken off."
The imperfect branches shall be broken off. Those are the guys that don't belong in this thing of ours, don't belong in the truth. They're going to be broken off. Like Yahushua said, every plant which my Father have not planted shall be rooted out.
Like that's what Romans 11. That's the theme of Romans 11.
I was just going to say that. Romans 11 chapter.
Yeah.
And they can't even understand that.
Yeah.
If you guys are saying that Cornelius, well, at one time you said, well, Cornelius is an Edomite, because at the old school at One West, Mo and Ariel said Cornelius has set up to hold a book. What book they're talking about, I don't know to this day. Because the book wasn't even, the Bible was still in process of being put together. Okay? So,
Yeah, that was an old wives' tale. And scriptures speak about old wives' tales. Go ahead.
So, I'm sorry, it came back to me. My train of thought. At one time you said you stood on the fact that Cornelius, or the belief that Cornelius was an Edomite. And when we got kicked out of the main school because of the Cornelius being the Israelite situation, all right? So now Nate woke up and said Cornelius is an Israelite and taught it like you guys are a bunch of dummies. But you still have guys that teach that Cornelius is an Edomite, but then when we question you on it, and we've been questioning you on it for the last I don't know how many years, but now you ignore it. You ignore the question. You don't even want to address the issue. You don't even want to bring it up. So now that you believe, you don't know whether Cornelius is an Edomite or an Israelite, and on this guy, what's this guy? Zabak. He's good for that. He's good for splash straddling the fence.
Gray area.
He's the gray area man.
King of the
And the Cornelius thing, well, I don't know. Some people teach that, and I don't know. The thing with the mark of the beast, well, I'm beginning to see it, but it makes sense, but I still don't know. But I'm going by. The most I ain't dealing with a nigga like that, man.
That's right.
Let your yay be yay.
Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay.
That's right.
Don't say, well, I don't know. Well, you have no business fucking teaching, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anything else is wickedness outside of
That's right. That's right. Now, if you're straddling the fence on the Cornelius issue, then when it comes to Romans the 11th chapter, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go with that?
That's right.
Heathens gonna be saved.
Oh, well, yeah, Zabak, I just watched a video on him. He's talking that old stuff from the old school, how some laws were given to the real Gentiles, and that's the reason why they came in. That old crap, man.
Well, they're doing it. They're not so much doing it because they're wicked. They're doing it because they don't know, and because they're full of pride, and they don't want to come up under the real leadership, man.
So,
I hate to put it that way.
So thus they're being wicked. Thus they're being wicked, man. You're not going to be blameless. You should have. You call yourself a teacher. You wear those $1 million garments. You stand on the street. You better be teaching the right thing, man. That's right. Or else the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua will hold you accountable. Every idle word. There you go.
Quick precept. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 14. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. In account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood.
Yeah, like his letters.
With the Romans 11th chapter.
Yeah, the difference of the Israelite and the Israelite foreigners, which you guys, we're speaking of Zabak, you scoff at, you make fun of.
It says, which they that are unlearned and unstable.
Zabak, they that are unlearned. Like I said, that last video I just watched, he was talking that shit, man, and he was trying to explain it to that Dominican dude that was in the audience. And the Dominican dude, to a certain extent, was cutting him. Even the comments were saying, "Yeah, that Dominican dude went in on Zabak." You ain't.
Give the glory to another. So
That's right. No. I was just gonna say, Zabak, you ain't got no business teaching, man. All right, you ain't got no business teaching.
Yeah, that tap dance show is over, man.
Yep.
That 44th Street, that tap
Mention
Yeah,
the
that
show.
Yeshaya shit.
Yeah,
That Yeshaya shit, man. That's why you don't see Yeshaya no more.
that's right.
I never left it. I never stopped teaching. Yeah, but then the last time you was on YouTube, you said when you die and you go to heaven, there's a prison up there, and the warden is Satan, and the first thing he does, he bends you over and pumps you in the ass.
Nobody have a problem with that.
Nobody
Nobody
had
said
a
nothing
problem.
against that.
nobody.
Yeah, you know,
But we're the bad guys for getting on Yeshaya. Did you watch the whole video?
And Zabak, all you had to do was go back to the history. Tell the people why Israel became Gentiles. Go back to Alexander the Greek.
Yep.
Then go back to the Ptolemies. Then go back to Antiochus. And go back to the account that's written in the Apocrypha.
Right.
Where Antiochus certain Israelites, wicked Israelites, made a covenant with Antiochus and became Gentiles.
Well, he don't got to go back to it because I'm gonna go back to it.
That's why he's teaching. That's why I hold it to him.
First Maccabees 1:11 to 15, and then from 15 jump to 41.
That's it.
Yes.
So first Maccabees 1:11 to 15, then jump to 41, from 41 to 53.
No more flim-flam.
First Maccabees 1, verse 11 to 15.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel